Yeah, so welcome. So we're on our fourth and final week of Smart Strength training, and all the work we've been doing this series has been from the ground, and we're going to continue that in this final week. So I think most of you kind of got familiar with the drills, i.e. sometimes we do a rhythm, a flow or a rock, then we sometimes do a hold, sometimes we use the breath to support us. So use all those things, and if they don't work for you, just take a break if you need a break. We're all in a different place on a Monday evening. Okay, so we're going to start on all fours. So finding that positioning yourself, and any additional support you might need for wrists, but not going to be doing anything too long. So once you've got your set up with your wrists below your shoulders and your knees hip distance apart, we're actually just doing circles. So we go from right hand to left knee to right knee and back to right hand. And it's kind of like, okay, I realize I'm just doing kind of a circle with my nose or my navel on the ground. Been softened slightly in the elbows so it's not too harsh. You'll feel a little bit of opening through the wrists maybe. And it's just a way to kind of come to the ground. So part of the reason why we're also using the ground for this Smart series is it's kind of a little bit more calming, at least in theory, to kind of be closer to the ground than doing things that are more on our legs. So pausing for a moment and then moving in the opposite direction. So we're just getting this little bit of free movement, find out how the breath is. And although it's kind of hopefully fairly easy for you, you will be creating some strength through arms and legs and re-engaging the belly a little bit as well, the core, which is one of the main areas we're working on. Okay, and then pause again. Toes tucked under. Now, if you maybe already tucked under, but tuck them under now. So we're doing this hovering thing. So take the knees just slight, short distance off the floor. More weight will go through the hands here. The belly will engage. Okay, and back down. So we just know what that feels like for a moment. So we're going to go back up and we're going to use this kind of extended out breath. So my suggestion is kind of making a who sound through the lips and making that a slow out breath to try and calm us while we're doing something mildly challenging. So when you're ready, press down through the hands, let the knees hover, and blowing out through the mouth really gently if you can. Knees down, untuck the toes, and just come to sit back. If that's kind of like not your thing, then just sit up. Yeah. So if you can sit down with your toes untucked, just sit down. Otherwise, just kind of come in and out of it. Just see how things are in your quads. So quads can be quite tight. So it's just a moment to check those out. And again, try and be calm if they are tight. If the knees are uncomfortable, though, please come out of that. Okay, so we're coming back to where we were. What you can try, I quite like it sometimes, is creating a fist with each hand, but still coming into all fours. So that opens the back of the wrists. If you don't like it, you go back down to how you were before. So it's just trying something different, seeing if it helps or not. We're tucking the toes under again, and we're repeating. Yeah, so bringing up the knees off the floor, do the who breath. Come back to down onto your knees. Just untuck your toes for a minute and give them a little bit of release. So just let the toes have a shake out. Okay, so if you're happy to go back, what we're going to do is we're going to walk, so we'll be on, I'll come up and just show you. So I'm on, my knees are off the floor, and then picking up 1 foot, and then the other foot, 1 foot, and then the other foot, and then we'll come down. Okay, so join me if you haven't done already. So knees off the floor, which means you'll get more going through your knuckles or your hands. Have the back of the neck long and then start walking. You can use the who breath if you want to. If not, just kind of notice what's going on with your breath. Okay, and again, come down on both knees, untuck the toes, sit back, give the wrists a little bit of a shake to again release tightness Okay. So we'll do something different. We're going to come back to that at the end. So find your way onto your side. So I'm going to have elbow bent, so I'm on the forearm. Some people like the hand down, some people like a soft fist. Stretch the legs out so they're broadly in line. I've got my hand that's spare, just helping me with balance initially. Okay, so sometimes you have to keep looking because sometimes you end up rocking back with your bum. So just get that in line if you can. And then from there, just raising the upper leg and releasing. So we've done this a few times. So some of you are kind of open and find that really easy. Other people will find it more difficult. So in a moment, we'll create some resistance, which means it becomes much more of a strength move rather than a how much have I got in terms of that open, it's not really rotation, but that openness through the hips. Okay, so come down for a moment. Press through the bottom leg so that feels like the hips going into the ground. Hopefully that's not too harsh for you. And then lift the leg. So there's the bottom leg pushes down and then just tip the toes towards the ground so the heel goes up. So there's a bit more of an internal rotation, unless that feels really, really uncomfortable, which can in some people's hips. Do the Who breath when you're ready. And slowly lower the leg. Just come onto your back as an interim, as a kind of mini pause, but going on to the other side after that. So find your way onto your back, release your arms by your side, and just review how you feel on one side compared to the other side. So one side obviously took the weight, the other side had a little bit more space and freedom. So there'll be a little bit of difference between the work done between the right side and your left side. Let the breath come back and the belly soften for a moment. And then feet to the floor, bending the knees and rocking over so you can do your other side. So I'm just going to face you, but I'm turning to the other side of my mat. Going to get my elbow below my shoulder or some position where it's comfortable. I'm going to try and align my ankles with my hips. So this first stage again is just lifting the leg. So we don't need to be particularly thoughtful about creating resistance. We're just creating a rhythm. And see how that feels. So any feedback, be interested in any feedback around the hip, around the inner thigh, adductor area, and also the outside of the thigh. Okay, and then pause. So one foot's on top of the other. Push down with the lower leg, lift the upper leg, and then turn the toes down a little bit. And just create the Who breath as you create that resistance. And lower the top leg. Done. Okay. So we won't have a pause this time. We'll go back to the side, first side. Okay, so see how this feels. So it might be you want to do what we've just done. If you can come up onto your hand this time rather than onto your elbow, you're coming up a level. And that means you can possibly get the hips off the ground now, and you can stretch one arm up. So but you might not be in line, I'm not conscious. I think I'm slightly out of line, but I'm doing my best. And then just see if you can lift the leg once or two times without falling over. It's the hardest thing. And then get the hand down, get the side down. Just come onto your back for a moment. We'll go back up on the same side in a moment. So just rest, check the wrist has been able to cope with that. And if not, then you just go on the forearm. You can still take the hips off the floor with the forearm. There's nothing wrong with that. Get the breath back for a moment. And make sure the back's okay. If you need more support in the back, you bring the knees into your chest, just roll around or do circles on your lower back. Okay, so we're going to go back to that side. So knees in and over to one side. So we're back to side one. Yeah, what we've just been doing. We're going back onto our hand or forearm, whichever feels most possible. We're going to push ourselves up, we're going to extend the arm, we're going to try and balance, and then we're going to lift the leg maybe a few more times. So one more time. Hand down, hip down, onto your back. And just see how it feels down the side of the body. So because we worked with the hand on the floor, most of you were quite happy with that. You'll feel much more strength down the side of the lower body. Possibly, you get a sense of that tone already compared to the other side. So we'll work on the other side in a moment. Let the breath come back. And then again, feet on the floor, knees bent, roll over and go to your second side. Yeah, so you know what the drill is now. Now, I'll see how I go on this side. My shoulder's not as good on this side at the moment, so I need to just make sure that I'm not doing anything silly. So, positioning yourself, getting yourself off the ground, extending your top arm, and just a couple of times raise one leg and down, raise the second time, down, done, hand down, bottom down, or side hip down, and just have a mini break. Just a short recovery, and going on to the second time, repeating on the second side. So I'm actually going to come down on my elbow. I feel that's going to be safer for me. Shoulder this time. So I'm coming up, still got my hips off the floor, still got my arm extended. So use a who breath. One more. Top arm down, rest the hip down, come on to the back. Well done. Relax the shoulders, relax tension that you may have acquired in the face, the jaw, forehead, the eyes, that kind of area tense up. Let the belly be free again. Feeling left side and right side of the body. You might feel a little bit of tone, not just on the torso, but also on the legs. So we're doing leg work even though we're not standing. We're doing balance work there to some extent as well. Obviously, there's quite a lot of weight going through the arms, so we're working with the arms, so the arms might feel kind of tingly and alive now. Okay, so what we're going to do, hopefully I can explain this from here without you needing to change, look towards the screen. So this time, get the legs strong, so heels in and toes towards the sky. Press the heels in and lift the knees up to start off with a little bit, yeah? So you're pressing the heels in, knees are off the floor. If you can, take the bum off the floor. So you'll need a lot of work going on in the hamstrings and to some extent the glutes. So blowing out for a moment. Bring the bum down, bring the legs down, relax the legs. Let the belly come back. Again, if there's issues with lower back, getting aggravated, irritated, then bring the knees into the chest here. Okay, so we're going to repeat, but we're going to lift one foot off the ground and the other foot off the ground. Not very high because it's quite hard. So, and what will happen is you'll take more pressure through your arms. So again, if that doesn't feel good, you just need to stay with how we were in the first one. So again, engage the legs, toes head towards the sky, heels dig in. Lift the knees off the floor, so the calves off the floor, thighs off the floor, just so you get it ready in position. You pick your bum then off the floor if you can manage that, and then see if you can lift one foot off the ground, the other foot off the ground. So you're kind of walking, stepping. Okay, and bum down, legs down, switch off. Yay, okay, well done. So hamstrings a notorious problematic area. So I'm starting to certainly do a little bit more strength work around there. Often people feel they need to lengthen them, and that isn't always what they need to do. They need to strengthen them and lengthen them, but strength often is more important for endurance, etc. Okay, so bend, we're heading for bridge, so most of you know what the shape's going to be like. So feet on the floor and bringing the heels closest into the bum. The feet are hip distance apart. My suggestion is you create robot arms, so that means bending the elbows, so the hands reach towards the sky, but the upper arms are on the ground. So they're quite close to the body, but you're not trapping yourself. So shoulder kind of distance, so there's a little bit of gap between the body and the arms. Hands suggest are active, so you kind of have a bit of space between the fingers. Okay, let's go together then here. So press down with the arms, press down with the feet or the heels, get the bum up and get the pelvis up, and you'll get to a particular spot. So just see if you can get a little bit higher, which means chin comes to chest and chest comes further forward as you feel like the knees are almost going away from you to protect your lower back. Okay, so you hold for a little bit more if you can. Notice if you're breathing or not. And then rest the back down. So bring the back all the way back down. And relax there for a moment. Keep the arms, gently engaged. So keep the robot arms. So we're going to do the same again. And then we'll come down and then we'll do a walking version. Yeah. So some similarities between what we're doing here. So when you're ready, pushing down through the feet, pushing down through the arms, raise the pelvis to the height that you feel safe in your lower back, but you feel like you're working and getting quite a lot of openness through the back and the chest, if that works for you. If you don't want to do any of this, please just go to cat-cow. Okay, make sure your knees aren't wobbling away from each other. Use the who breath to extend the time a little bit longer. And then relax the shoulders, relax the back, and come back down. So I will show you just in case you want to look and not get up there and not be sure what we're doing. So what we're doing, we're going back up, pelvis up, and then we'll reach one leg in front and then the other leg in front. Yeah, so it's kind of like a kick or a walk or a march. So we keep the pelvis up and stable. Okay, so that's where we're heading. But just check that your heels haven't drifted away from your bum. You're still broadly hip distance apart. And when you're ready, engage through the feet, engage through the arms, get yourself to a fairly happy high position, chin to chest. Okay, do your best to hold that position of the pelvis while you step one leg out, so you get that sort of walking from side to side, but you keep your pelvis high, which means you're going to keep your belly in. See what's happening with the breath. Want to use the who breath. Keep things calm, then you can keep using who breaths. A little bit longer. Okay, both feet down and lower yourself all the way down. Once you're down, we'll all bring our knees into the chest or do a child's pose, whichever is more comfortable, just to release the lower back. So the bum's off the floor and you're hugging the legs in. Just rock from side to side. Breath. Release. Little circles on your lower back. One way and then the other way. Great. Okay, and then roll over. We're going to be coming on to our bellies next. Yeah. So finding your way onto your belly and in Sphinx position. So that means forearms are down and shoulders above elbows. So keep it at shoulder distance rather than trying to drag the arms too close towards each other. So if you can, you're on your knees here, yeah? So you're not rolling out to the little toe side, which is quite common. So just for a moment, just lift the feet off the ground, so bend the knees. So you'll engage a little bit more in the thighs. Press down through the arms so you can extend a little bit more through the chest, looking forward. And then replace the legs back down to the ground. Okay, so from here, we're going to go from this position into locust position. So we'll just do the legs, and the legs will be swimming front crawl legs in a moment. So let the elbows come wide. You can either keep the head slightly off the ground, or you can stack your hands and put your forehead down. Again, hopefully you're on your knees, so you're on the center of your foot, center of your knees, and start the swim. So you're taking your shins and knees off the ground, and then you're doing this little kind of kick if you're swimming. And then just keep the belly in, whether your head's down or not. And then rest the legs down for a moment. So we're going to have two positioning for the arms. So the first one, we're going to sweep the arms behind us, yes, so the hands face each other, arms reach away. So now the chest is off the floor, back of the neck is long, and then a little bit of swimming. If that's not good for the back, just hold it in position. If you're happy with the swimming position, swim. Feeling like the hands are chasing away from the shoulders, so there's a reach back opening through the shoulders. You can do a who breath if that's nice. We're going to keep the legs still now, but off the ground, and change position of the arms. So it's more like cactus arms. So elbows are out from the shoulders, elbows are bent, and we have the hands at the palms facing down. We hold for a moment or two. Well done. Feet down, hands by the side of the chest. Let's push ourselves up. Hard work has been done. Yeah. So we've done a lot of different things. We've done side body, back body, front body, and we've done some more all fours work. We've done quite a lot of work on the arms, quite a lot of work through the legs, but all the time it's been somewhere connected broader to the core and to give us some support there. So now we're back on all fours before we start any movement. Just see how you feel, inner arms, outer arms, how you feel connected into your shoulders, how you feel connected from your shoulders into front of your chest and the upper back. See how it feels down the sides of the torso, how it feels in the butt, inner thighs, outer thighs. So just get that feedback, hopefully a little bit of tone, a little bit of energy, and then we're just going to kind of carry, so it's a rounding and an arching of the back. But particularly if backs are lower back has been uncomfortable or can be uncomfortable, be much more keen to go into the position. So you're rounding your back, tipping the pelvis under, forehead, crown of the head towards the sky. Don't worry too much about the cow bit, because that's just again reiterating potential issues for lower back. So you can always do neutral through to cat. So a couple more. And then into neutral. Bring the knees together. So we're just doing these figure of 8 movements, yeah. So when we extend the pelvis round, hips round, go in a diagonal, and then at some point we realise we're kind of doing a snake-like motion, figure of 8, we're drawing with our nose or our navel, and we just find a way to unravel a little bit now. So there's some tightness and to tell the body to relax a little bit more, loosen, flow, breath, just release. If it's too strong on the wrist, then again, you could use knuckles or roll up a mat. Okay, go in the other direction if you can. So swing your hips and your bum in the opposite direction to start that off. Okay, and then pause. the knees hip distance away, tuck the toes under, just sit back for a moment. I know, again, this is not everybody's kind of happy place. Relax the shoulders, hoop breath if you need it. Or you can come up and down or stay up. Okay, and hands forward. So we're going to repeat the hover that we did at the beginning. So we'll start with the easy hover. So just getting your hands, your wrists below your shoulders, knees hip distance, toes tucked under, and let the knees hover. And just see how that feels. Hopefully it feels much more straightforward. Bring the knees back down. Get a breath. Okay, so we're going to go up and we're going to hold it using the Who breath. So pushing down, knees off the ground. Second Who breath if you're not there. Knees down, just untuck the toes and just let the toe get some relief. Shake out the wrist so you can do one more. Okay, so toes tucked under again. So we do the walking version. Okay, so when you're ready, knees off the ground, just a short way, and then lift one foot up and then the other foot up, one foot up and then the other. So walking, again, Who breath. Well done. Knees down. Again, just untuck the toes. Okay, so to finish, we'll just do we'll just do a twist effectively, or a rotation. So I think most of you remember threaded needle, where you take one hand underneath and come down to your shoulder and the side of your head and release down. So just coming down for a moment. And then from there we're going to unravel that arm and then take that arm towards the sky. So we get a little bit more openness to the chest. And then we repeat, bring the hand down, pause and hold for a second. You can get the head down and the shoulder down by threading through quite a way. That's quite nice for the back. A bit awkward, I know, on the head and the neck, so just take care there. And again, just sweep that back up, breathe it in. One final time, bring that down, and if you can cope, just relax again one more time here. And we'll just continue trust and go on to the second side. So bringing the hands back into place. So we're back on all fours for a moment. And then we sweep the other hand through, coming onto our shoulder or close to our shoulder, side of the head. And relax the weight down a little bit without damaging the neck. And then at some point we sweep the arm up, breathing in. And release down. Sweep back up for the second time. Release down for third and final time. Back onto all fours. Whistle around onto your bum. Just so I can see you. Okay, we're done. We're done. So hopefully you've got enough there to kind of remember some of it. Obviously you'll have the recordings. So you've got some sets of strength training. So I've tried to do everything without equipment, just so you have to think about that. So have a lovely break. I'll see you, for those that want to come back or can come back in 2 weeks. And I'll send the dates through in a wee while. All right.